Metalheads are crazy. Some of them are willing to travel across the globe and spend a lot of money they probably don't have just to headbang with thousands of sweaty dudes they never met before and get a hoarse voice from screaming their favorite songs at a heavy metal show. And I'm one of them. And since metal concerts are a rarity these days, the lack of thereof allowed me to happily spend the saved up money on Metallica's 40th anniversary shows, which are coming up this week. And so without any further ado, let's take a look at what Metallica probably has in stock for us by analyzing the band's latest activity, and then have a little announcement about the first ever giveaway on the show. Here you go. The key to understanding what Metallica has planned for the 40th anniversary shows is taking a look at what they did for their 30th birthday and not expect the same thing. First of all, their age and California restrictions made Metallica reduce the amount of shows from 4 to 2 this time, and thus we should not expect an all-covering journey through the history of heavy metal like they did last time, and instead expect Metallica to concentrate on their own rare material and maybe some guest appearances by the band's closest friends during those concerts. In addition, there are a lot of activities planned outside of those shows, so if you are a metalhead and you are in San Francisco, make sure to wear all of your best metal gear and get your ass out the door to hang out with the fellow metalheads from all over the world. And speaking of metal outfit, before we dive deep into what Metallica planned for us, I'd like to once again thank Gothic for not only sponsoring this video, but also helping me not look like a complete dork at that show. If you haven't heard of them before, Gothic specialize in metalhead jewelry with a huge amount of designs ranging from anything Viking-like to religious ornaments. The store actually holds a Christmas sale right now on a variety of items, so if you want to get ready for one of those metal shows next year or looking for a Christmas gift for someone, make sure to check them out and use an exclusive promo code METAL20 to get a 20% off, because while Gothic most likely won't change your friends' musical preferences, they will still help them look way more metal, so definitely check them out. But alright, the thanks are over, let's do it. According to Loudwire, well, actually according to Andrei Vasylenko, who pointed this out to me, there are 17 songs which Metallica had never played before. Unsurprisingly, all of those are of course from the albums released post-1991, and while I don't expect Metallica to play all of the 17 of those rarities, I think that we will first of all hear the remaining 2 from the latest release, and I'll explain why in a moment, 1 or 2 from Saint Anger, and at least a couple from the band's 1997 album Reload. By the way, overall, I just hope that Metallica plays many more songs from Reload than from its predecessor, since I'm one of those weird people who actually thinks that Reload is significantly stronger than Load. What? And of course, as we all know, this year marked the 30th anniversary of the release of the band's most successful album to date, reissue of which they have been promoting pretty heavily and made a huge fuss out of restocking a couple of weeks ago. And so I believe that it is safe to assume that the band will continue riding that train, and at this point the only thing we should wonder about is which versions of the songs we'll actually hear, the ones performed by Metallica or... In addition, last year marked the passing of the legendary Ennio Morricone, whose Ecstasy of Gold has been opening Metallica concerts since 1983. I believe that the band might honor the composer by playing another version of a very special arrangement of Ecstasy of Gold in front of all of the fans who will be attending that show and everyone else, since if you didn't know about that, Amazon will actually be streaming both of those shows live. While Metallica will most likely not be able to invite all of the heavy metal legends like they did last time, simply because it would be extremely hard to arrange during the course of just 2 nights, they will still most likely honor some of their main influences, including of course the legendary Motorhead.
Who are your favorite artists or your main influences?
Motorhead.
And while we can assume that Metallica could have played Overkill or their favorite Damage Case one more time like they used to do many times before, unfortunately, none of the Motorhead band members who were actually influencing Metallica the most are alive at this point. And the only 2 people whom they could have invited at this point would be, of course, Phil Campbell and Mikkey D, none of whom were actually in the band when those tracks were released.
Yes, that's true.
And this is why I actually think that instead of playing a cover on a Motorhead song, Metallica might perform another song written about Lemmy by them. Especially since Hardwired to Self-Destruct is still technically the latest studio album released by the band, and they have to play something new from it. Other than that, Metallica might invite just some of their closest friends, most likely from the list of those who took part in the Metallica podcast earlier this year. And yes, I would just love Rob Halford to show up on stage.
Shattering balls, crushing roll, beating rights.
And for some weird reason, I actually think that the band Anthrax, who also celebrated their 40th anniversary just a couple of months ago, might be part of that show as well. But other than that, I actually don't think that we should expect a crazy all-star lineup this time, and I'm even not sure if the band's early members will show up, including Dave Mustaine. But given the fact that Metallica is promoting the Black Album rather heavily, I actually think that Jason Newsted might walk up on stage and perform a song or two together with Rob Trujillo.
How's it going?
And last but not least, the two people I would actually not be surprised to see at the Metallica 40th anniversary shows would be Tony Iommi and Brian May, both of whom of course were huge influence on the early Metallica. And since the two legends recently restarted their rock engines, I would actually not be surprised if both of them would grab an opportunity and perform a song or two in front of the entire world. But we'll see. Yet both of those concerts would be like what? 2 hours each, and the fans will be traveling from literally all over the world to see Metallica perform them. Thus, a lot of the activities that the band has actually planned for the fans would be held outside of those shows. Metallica prepared a comprehensive list of events for 4 days straight, which would start in the early morning and finish late at night, including whiskey tasting parties, cover shows, photography exhibits with the legendary Ross Halfin, community service project with the band's charity foundation, All Within My Hands, and many, many more things. And while it is impossible to attend all of those events, I actually hope to cover most of them on the next episode, including the interviews with some of the band's fans who are coming from all over the world and seeing what they think of the Metallica San Francisco Takeover. And of course, one of those things which everyone is so looking forward to is experiencing this sense of a family and a community which hopefully will be present there. That and exclusive merch which you can get. Which brings us to the final point for the episode. As some of you might know, the guys over at AFM Records reached out to me and proposed to ship over a box of exclusive goodies, including vinyl, exclusive merch, and so on and so forth, to be sent out to our amazing community. All of this will of course be done in the form of a small giveaway, details of which I will be posting in the community posts very soon. Yet when I thought about, since I'm going all the way to San Francisco for Metallica 40th anniversary shows, I actually want to bring something from those shows, and so at the shows I'll make sure to purchase an exclusive poster and one of those 40th anniversary shirts and send it over to 2 Metallica fans anywhere in the world as my small token of thank you guys for this amazing community in this channel that we've built together. But anyways, what do you guys personally expect from the Metallica 40th anniversary shows? Please let us know in the comments, as well as if you plan to attend them or watch them on Amazon. As always, thank you so much for watching, guys, and keep rocking.